When morals decline and good men do nothing, evil flourishes. A society unwilling to learn from the past is doomed. We must never forget our history. We must never lower our guard.
You've played some pretty intense characters throughout your career. You look at someone like Howard Hughes and now with J. Edgar. Do characteristics of those people ever stay with you? Do they ever pop up in your daily life, like a quirk maybe from Howard Hughes or J. Edgar? Does that ever happen to you?
If there ever was one, it would be Howard Hughes, just because, you know, I used to do slight obsessive things when I was little, stepping on cracks on the way back home from school, and I had to start bringing all that stuff out for the character, and that lingered with me. But most of the time, if I'm not able to go home and be myself, and when, you know, the film is wrapped, feel like a free man, you know, I wouldn't be doing my job. I try to embody the character as best as I can and leave it all on the table, so to speak. You know, whatever you have to portray about that character should be burned into celluloid.
Edgar, you will rise to be the most powerful man in the country.
It is my belief that when a man becomes a part of this bureau, he must so conduct himself as to eliminate even the slightest possibility of criticism as to his conduct.
One of the things, one of the lines I love about this movie that J. Edgar says is that, you know, a man's legacy is often what is not seen.
Right.
And I think it's just it's an amazing thing to think about. And I want to ask you, as an actor, do you feel that's the same for your business? Like, in acting, do you think that it's what's not seen on camera that makes you who you are and your legacy?
Do you think, on a personal level or as an actor?
On a personal. I mean, either way.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to listen to an audience's reaction to a performance that you give, because so much about what defines their character, the character you're trying to portray in their eyes, is the things that you'd never expect. Is the moments where you're not doing, engaging emotional scenes or declaring your opinion on something. It's those very subtle moments, and you know, working now on like The Great Gatsby, for example, it's amazing what was edited out of that movie. What made that book great is everything that they stripped away. And playing somebody like J. Edgar Hoover, there was so many more questions still to be answered about him on a personal level, about his sexuality, about what motivated him, and that's always, you have to retain some of that to keep that ambiguity, I think, and make a movie interesting and engaging for an audience. They still have to have those questions.
Mr. Tolson, I need someone who I can trust. I want you to be my number 2 man. You understand? I need you. Imagine if every citizen in this country were uniquely identifiable by the pattern on their fingers. Imagine how quickly we could find them if they committed a crime. Do you remember that file we created on his wife?
Mrs. Roosevelt.
Will you make a copy for me, please? Is that legal? Sometimes you need to bend the rules a little in order to keep your country safe.
Now, one of the scenes that for me that was the most powerful in the movie was the scene with you and Judi Dench when you're trying to tell her that you can't dance and you don't like, you don't like dancing, and you don't like dancing with women in the film, and she doesn't accept you. She wants you to be someone you're not. And you struggle with that. It's a pretty intense moment. When you first came to Hollywood, when you were a young kid, did you feel like you had to be someone you were not in this business? Was there like a struggle for you that you felt like you had to be someone you were not? Like,
I think, yeah, definitely. When I was a young actor, it was a very interesting process, because you're going to this audition process to get these jobs, and you want to please everyone around you. You want to make all the the directors and the producers believe that you can do and accomplish anything. And it wasn't until the moment that I really wanted to quit. You know, I remember I was 12 or 13 years old, and I said, you know what, this isn't for me. I'm not getting much work, and I'm sick of this sort of dog and pony show. Maybe I'll go do something else. And that was the moment where I started landing roles. And it was very interesting to me, because I felt like it took a level of detachment, and the ability to walk away from something was very important in the process of focusing on the work and not wanting to please everyone around you. And it was a very interesting period of time in my life, and it changed me as a person, too.
Well, listen, congratulations to you. You were phenomenal.
Thank you, bro.
Please leave the transcripts here with me.
Feel free and share them with your brother, Mr. Kennedy. Let him know that I have a copy of my own. The president is afraid.
All the admiration in the world can't fill the spot where love goes. We are the sinners, Edgar. We tolerated lawlessness in the land until it grew to diabolical proportions.
It
The blood is on your hands, Edgar.
What are your exact qualifications for your position of leadership in this bureau?
My qualifications, sir?
I don't know who I can trust anymore.
I see right through you. You're a scared, heartless, horrible little man.
Don't wilt like a little flower. Be strong.
Yes, Mother. It's time this generation learned the difference between villain and hero.
When you're under that makeup, do you feel more pressure or less pressure when performing? Because like it's almost like you're hidden. It's almost like you're like
totally.
it's like yourself. But like, do you feel like you can be? Is it more ambitious when you're under that makeup? Do you feel like? How do you feel?
You definitely got to work harder
Right.
because you have, you know, a quarter-inch of latex super glued to your face. That's going to limit how much you can move when you smile. So
Right.
if you're wearing the latex and you try to actually just smile normally, it comes across like this. You know, so you're like, man, I got to pull my cheeks back and I got to close my eyes, and you got to you really have to work to get through things. So it's like wearing that makeup, like you have to, you're wearing a mask that you have to force stuff through, I guess. So yeah, it was definitely more challenging, and I've never done anything like that. Like Leo's done some stuff like that, so he in the beginning was like, hey, just like a couple tips, make sure you really move your neck a lot, because people tend to just sort of get stuck in one of these things, you know. So yeah, there was a lot of talk about that kind of thing and working through it.
Even great men can be corrupted.